Ha ha, brat. Let's see where you run off to this time. Just behave and be our little appetizer tonight. Didn't expect to find such a pretty young thing in a dump like this. Ha 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 ha. Ling Ju stirred awake, her mind in a daze. A sharp pain throbbed in her temples as she slowly turned her head. The motion sent waves of agony through her body. Cold sweat beaded on her pale forehead, her face drained of color. Why does it hurt so much? Hey, pretty boy, you don't need to play coy with us. Everyone's got a price. We're more than happy to pay yours. Yeah, it's been ages since I saw someone this cute. Can't wait to get my hands on you. Ling Ju's back hit the wall as she glared coldly at the three men approaching her. Get lost. Her eyes scanned the garishly colored surroundings, suddenly alert. Where is she? Wasn't she dead? Then it hit her. Asterisk, asterisk, Tang Yuan. Asterisk, asterisk. Come here, sweetie. Ha ha ha. Before she could move, one of the men lunged and hoisted her onto his shoulder like a sack of rice, laughing as he carried her toward the blaring music and flashing lights of the nightclub. Suddenly, memories not her own surged through her mind, colliding and merging with her thoughts. In that moment, everything became terrifyingly clear. The humiliation, the pain, the trap, asterisk, asterisk. She remembered. She was born a girl, but raised as a boy by her mother. After being handed over to the Ling family, she became Ling Zhensheng's son, the governor of Yinhai province. Her mother took the money and vanished, leaving Ling Ju behind like a discarded dog. Though everyone believed she was the child of a mistress, she was, in truth, the legitimate heir. Her mother had been the rightful partner, while Mu Shuling usurped her position and destroyed her life. And now, with the high school entrance exams looming, she had been lured to a so-called class reunion, only to be dumped in a gay nightclub to publicly ruin her reputation as the governor's son. As the club's chaos raged outside, they dragged her into a room. Yeah, we hit the jackpot tonight. They threw her onto a bed, then locked the door. Grins stretched across their greasy faces as they began to undress. Disgusting. Ling Ju rolled off the bed, forcing herself to her feet. Her gaze burned with cold fury. In the original owner's memories, she had panicked, drugged and dazed, slamming her head into the wall, trying to escape. She had been too timid, too helpless, and died. But now, Ling Ju had returned. Asterisk, asterisk, and she was no longer helpless. Asterisk, asterisk. Blood dripped from her forehead, but she ignored it. Her eyes locked onto a fruit knife on the table. In a blink, it was in her hand, gleaming beneath the neon light. Her voice sliced the air like a blade. I'll ask once. Who sent you? The men paused, unease flickering across their faces, but they quickly sneered again. Nobody sent us, sweetheart. We just like what we saw. Now be a good boy and lie down. You can cry, but it won't help you. The one with yellowed teeth took a step forward, mocking her with a silver smile, completely ignoring the knife in her grip. A glint of killing intent flashed in her eyes. So you've chosen death. She moved like a shadow. One slash, fast and precise. The man didn't even have time to scream before blood burst from his throat like a geyser, staining the floor in crimson. You! The other two stumbled back, horror written all over their faces. They never expected this weak boy could become a demon. P.S. Asterisk. This is Filthy's new novel. Please support it with votes and stars. Quick clarification, asterisk. This is a female disguised as a male story. That means the female lead pretends to be a boy to survive, not a BL romance. The story is packed with action, drama, and satisfying revenge. Both leads are strong, both are virgins, and yes, asterisk, asterisk, there's a ton of pampering later. Asterisk, asterisk. Male lead, Fengyuan. Female lead, Ling Ju, yes, also called Ling Ju. Please don't accuse this book of plagiarism without solid proof. If you truly think something was copied, post details and report it through the proper channels. But don't clutter the comments with false accusations. Writing this took real effort. Check out Filthy's next novel too. Reborn Queen of Superpowers. Young Emperor, come duel me. You might fall in love with that one too. Catch him. Asterisk. The two men lunged toward Ling Ju, their bloated bodies crashing forward like falling boulders. But before they even reached her, Ling Ju was already a shadow before them. She moved with terrifying speed and grace, smiling faintly. And just like that, their eyes dimmed. Forever. They never imagined that taking on what seemed like an easy job would cost them their lives. Ling Ju suddenly coughed up blood, her strength draining in waves. Her vision blurred, and she collapsed onto the bed. Eyes wide open, she stared blankly at the chandelier above her. Her chest heaved as memories surged, her mind trying to adjust to the flood of emotions and pain. A soft voice reached her ear, calm and precise. Lord Ju, this is modern society in a parallel timeline. The current time is year XXXX, month X, day X, 22:30 p.m. The voice came from the small black diamond earring she wore. Ling Ju blinked and slowly came back to herself. This place this time, she was no longer in Xinyue, no longer the chief of the Miaojiang shaman tribe. But her soul still carried the weight of that identity. Most believed the Miaojiang had perished, but the truth was simpler. They had merely turned away from the world. Tang Yuan, where exactly are we? There was a brief pause before Tang Yuan responded, its voice filled with sorrow. Lord Ju, the Miaojiang is gone. Should we return? I know. A bitter smile crossed her lips. Her people had once created a powerful new goo worm. But before it could flourish, several ancient reclusive clans attacked and destroyed the tribe out of fear. Now, she was the last witch. Tang Yuan, the last imperial goo. From today onward, I am Ling Ju of this world. Her voice was calm, resolute. Tang Yuan, thank you. Protecting you is my purpose, Lord Ju. Tang Yuan replied firmly. Then go rest. I need to process these memories. Tang Yuan hesitated, then warned. Lord Ju, I regret to inform you that due to my limited strength, I was unable to find a suitable host body. This one is damaged, fatally so. Without nourishment, it may not last more than 3 months. Asterisk, asterisk. I understand. Now rest. Ling Ju interrupted gently. Tang Yuan had used all its power to keep her alive. In this unfamiliar world, she had only it, and that was enough. She hadn't expected the body to be in such poor shape, not even 3 months to live. But she couldn't let that stop her. She had to heal Tang Yuan and rebuild the Miaojiang in this world. She would not let their legacy vanish from history. But first, asterisk, asterisk, she had to survive. Asterisk, asterisk. Suddenly, asterisk, asterisk, click, asterisk, asterisk. A faint noise broke the stillness. Ling Ju snapped back into alertness, still sorting through the original body's memories. The door creaked open, and a tall figure entered, locking it behind him. She turned, eyes narrowing. The man wore a sleek black suit and a silver mask. In his hand, a silenced pistol. He looked like death incarnate, cold, composed, deadly. His aura was suffocating, an icy pressure that made her skin crawl. He didn't speak, just turned to the bodies on the floor, then raised the gun and fired. Thud! The bullet buried itself in the bed where her heart had been moments ago. She'd rolled just in time, hitting the ground hard. Pain shot through her arm, but she didn't care. That shot was meant to kill her. Tang Yuan, wake up, she cried in her mind. No answer. She'd told it to sleep, and it had obeyed. She was alone and injured. Worse still, she had no idea who this masked man was. But she knew instinctively. He was nothing like the brutes before. This man was a predator.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Find him. Find him for me. Search every room. Find him for me. Otherwise, you're all dead. 2. Yes, 2. Ling Ju heard a low voice coming from outside and immediately understood that the man had been chased into the room. This time, he did not use his gun again. He was surprised that someone could dodge his gun technique. He picked up Ling Ju and threw her onto the bed. He pressed the gun between her brows and said in a hoarse voice, "If you move again, you'll die. 2. If you move, you will also die." The fruit knife in Ling Ju's hand was pressed against his chest. The speed was so fast that he was a little surprised. 2. So you are injured. Ling Ju's eyes flashed when she saw the blood on her body. This man could not hold on much longer. Heh, how dare he act so presumptuously in front of her, Lord Ju. He must be tired of living. 2. We haven't searched this room yet. At this moment, a group of people's voices came from the door. It seemed that the next target was this place. 2. Is there anyone inside? Open the door. Security personnel. Check the room. 2. Ling Ju did not dare to let go of her hand. She stared at him intently. It's for you. 2. Don't you know that killing someone is against the law? His voice was still deep. 2. What do you mean? 2. The ones on the ground will be sentenced to at least 10 years. His voice was not nervous because of outside. He was just like her, staring at each other. 2. Are you threatening me? Ling Ju sneered. I, Lord Ju, have never been threatened by anyone. 2. She used a little strength. His mouth was cut open, but he still did not move. There was a little emotion in his voice. He said in a hoarse and dark voice, We're just helping each other. 2. Ling Ju gently cut his mouth to take revenge for him, shooting her just now. Sure, but I'll think of a way. The corner of her lips curled up. First, you have to take off this damn mask. She did not like people showing off in front of her. 2. The man's eyes flashed, and a cold smile curled up on his lips. The security guard finally broke into the room. The two of them were lying together. Hearing the voices behind them, her pale little face stared at them. Who are you people? 2. Show me your ID cards. The security guard was stunned for a moment as he looked around the room. When he did not find anything unusual, he looked at the two men with disgust. 2. Although the same-sex relationships were already legal in this country, he still despised them. After all, he liked beautiful girls. 2. A few security guards waiting at the door also looked around with disgust. They had looked in several rooms, but all of them were in this situation. They still could not accept it. 2. He weakly took out 2 ID card from under the pillow. Here you go. 2. Looking at the short-haired boy, the security guard glanced at the man under him. It was a fat man using a pillow to cover his face. From the looks of it, they knew that he was not the person they were looking for. However, the world was getting worse. It was like a toad eating swan meat. 2. All right. He threw the identity cards to them in disgust. When he turned around to leave, he did not forget to close the door for them. After all, it was too eye-catching. 2. Ling Ju watched them leave before she got down from the bed. She was wearing clothes, and the front was still covered. She did not have the habit of showing off in front of a man. Suddenly, she felt dizzy. She glanced at the strange man and could not be bothered with him. She put on her clothes and prepared to leave. Suddenly, a gun was pressed against her back, and a cold voice rang in her ears. You still have to die. 2. His mask had fallen off, and his handsome face was in her eyes. Oh, she sneered. You really are an ungrateful killer. 2. But, did you forget something? She turned around and threw the bullets on the ground one by one. She sneered with a hint of mockery. Now, why don't you shoot? 2. Feng Yulin's sword-like eyes turned sharp. This person was actually so fast. When she was naked just now, his hand was on her waist, but his face was buried under the pillow. Half of his face was that of the dead fatty. Now that he looked at this person carefully, he finally knew why the 3 men died here. This man indeed had the ability to make people fall for him. No matter if it was a man or a woman, they would be bewitched by him. Ling Ju sized him up. This man was still tricked by her. The mask that he did not want to take off just now was also taken off by her. 2. He was indeed a handsome man. He had a dignified and valiant temperament. His facial features were deep and distinct with sharp edges. His eyebrows were sharp and fine like they were painted when they reached his temples. His eyes sparkled like cold stars. His skin was like honey and had a luster of amber. His nose was aristocratic, and his thin lips were tightly pursed. His expression was cold and indifferent. 2. Knock, knock, knock. 2. Open the door. Open the door. 2. While she was lost in her thoughts, a loud knock came from the door. It was the group of police officers who had returned. Lord Ju. Ling Ju heard Tang Yuan's voice in her mind. and her heart relaxed. 2. Tang Yuan, are you done? Help me look into this man. 2. Yes. 2. Ling Ju's hand slapped Feng Yulin's head. The slap stunned him. This kid dared to hit him. 2. Ling Ju's action was only to let Tang Yuan read his memory. You? Feng Yulin raised his head with a livid face and grabbed her wrist. You don't want your hand anymore. 2. Ling Ju saw the ruthlessness in his eyes and quickly called out to Tang Yuan. How is it? Did you collect any useful information? 2. Lord Ju, I might have malfunctioned. Tang Yuan's weak voice came through. I can't read his memory. I can't find anything. 2. It was over. This man did not look easy to deal with. Lord Ju was not going to fall. Was she? 2. Ling Ju's mouth twitched. So, her wrist was hurting for being pinched by him for nothing? 2. Lord Ju, you should run. The people outside are full of killing intent. If they rush in, the two of you will be cut into pieces. 2. Ling Ju shook off Feng Yulin's hand and looked at the window. F***CK. This is the 13th floor. 2. Lord Ju, there's a window next to you. The lower right corner of the window is open. You just need to run to that room. 2. Open the door. 2. Bang, bang, bang. At that moment, the knocking on the door was getting louder and louder. It seemed like the door could not hold on any longer. Feng Yulin saw her actions and knew that she had a way to escape. He put the past behind him and grabbed Feng Yulin's hand. He said in a deep voice, "Let's go together." 2. I don't care if you die. Ling Ju shook him off and jumped onto the window. However, before she could stand properly, Feng Yulin pulled her down again. His voice was still dark and determined. Let's go together. 2. You dash. 2. Bang. The door was already broken. Ling Ju jumped up and hung herself on him. She could not be bothered to think about anything else and instructed him directly. Jump down. There's a window on the right that can carry you. You'll be able to see the open window on the side. You'll be safe once you jump into the room. 2. Since she had someone to help her, it was better for her to save her energy. Feng Yulin looked at the boy hanging on his body and frowned. However, the situation was critical and he did not have the time to suspect anything else. He carried him and jumped out of the window, but he accidentally pulled on his wound. He frowned and continued to jump. The two of them had just disappeared from the window when the door was pushed to the ground. The people outside rushed in and looked at the empty room. They rushed straight to the window, but did not find anything. One of them lifted the blanket and saw the things on her bed. He exclaimed, "Boss, there are 3 bodies here." 2. Let me see. A policeman walked forward and saw the 3 fat men lying on the bed. 2. The policeman who had just checked the room also walked over. When he saw the situation, he was somewhat annoyed. So the ID cards just now belonged to these 3 people. I was actually cheated. 2. This ID card has been tampered with. You didn't notice it just now. The person called Boss picked up the ID card by the bed and used his hand to wipe the position of the photo. Immediately, it turned into a photo of a dead fat man. 2. He looked at this thing in surprise. This is 2. Bubblegum stickers. 2. The boss frowned and looked at the bed sheet. There was a bullet mark there. His eyes dimmed slightly. Do you still remember the appearance of the man just now? 2. Yes. The young man was too handsome. Of course he remembered. 2. Go back to the police station and look for the videos in this area. Find that person. As soon as the boss spoke, the group of people immediately retreated. 2. They also knew that they would not be able to find the person no matter how hard they searched here. On the window of the next floor, the 2 people they were looking for jumped down and landed in the room on the 11th floor like ghosts. Ling Ju frowned slightly when she saw that her white clothes were dyed red. She got down from him as soon as she landed in the room. She looked at him with disdain and said calmly, "You're going to die." 2. Feng Yulin propped himself up, and his eyes darkened. He was only at the end of his rope after being shot twice, not to mention that he had been slashed twice by him. Ling Ju was not a saint. She glanced at him indifferently, then turned and left. After leaving the door, she quickly disappeared into the night. 2. Feng Yulin held a necklace in his hand, a cruel smile on his face. This was not the end. Anyone who saw his real face must die. Beep. 2. An inaudible sound came from his hand. He pressed the spot where his hand was turned. There was a miniature receiver there, which looked like a part of his wrist. Carnival night, 1122, floor 11. 2. Yes. 2. He cut off the connection and held on to his consciousness, waiting for his people to come. This time, the person did not die. There would be more and more trouble. In fact, he could have suppressed everything for now. But if that kid saw his real face, it might be very dangerous. If he told the truth, his entire plan might collapse. That kid was of utmost importance. He had to get rid of him. Ling Ju, whom he had given the utmost importance to, was walking home at the moment. The surrounding trees were shaded, and they reflected into all kinds of shadows under the light. She found a shirt hanging at the entrance of the hotel and put it on. Then, she threw the bloody shirt into the trash can. 2. Her mind was in a mess as she walked, and she had already accepted the fact that she was Ling Ju. 2. Lord Ju, I think there's something wrong with that man, Tang Yuan whispered into her ear. I've never made a mistake, but I can't read his memory. There must be something wrong with it. 2. However, the memory in my head shows that there's no such thing as a heaven-defying creature like you in this world. So, maybe there's something wrong with you. Ling Ju smirked. When she was in the shaman tribe, she loved to tease Tang Yuan. 2. Impossible. I'm definitely not wrong. If you don't believe me, Lord Ju, just find someone. I'll give it a try. It refused to accept it. It was not its fault. It was not going to take the blame for this. 2. Ling Ju smiled and looked at the crescent moon in the sky. Her expression was a little dazed. She had been reborn. Under the sky, she had rewritten her own story. Following her memories, she returned to her own home. 2. She did not want to recall the hurt the original owner had experienced. She would avenge her, but not now. Ling Ju pressed her fingerprint and walked in. There was no one in the living room at the moment. She could actually guess where those people had gone. Tang Yuan, can we have some fun? 2. Tang Yuan was a little confused. What was that? 2. Do you have a strength now? Ling Ju's lips curled up. She walked out of the living room and looked at the monitor on the tree at the entrance. 2. Yes, I recovered some strength just now. Lord Ju, did you forget? Tang Yuan, I have a very strong recovery ability. I'm super strong. 2. All right then, you recover your true form and help me destroy that, as well as today's record. 2. She walked out and knocked on the earring on her ear. Go. 2. Lord Ju, I suddenly have no strength left. Why was it so boring? She thought she was going to use its divine power. 2. A top-grade Jade Buddha. 2. Lord Ju, don't worry. I promise to complete the mission. As it said that, it jumped down from her ear. It was a small snowball-like thing with a lot of fluffy hair on its body. 2. Just like what Ling Ju said before, it was like a white dumpling. Moreover, it was pure white. 2. So, that was how it got its name. It came back in a moment, panting from exhaustion. Lord Ju, I've settled it. I'm so tired. 2. This little thing is nothing to you, right? 2. That's true. After all, I'm most handsome monarch Gu in the world. As soon as it said that, it went into the earring. It could not reveal its true form for too long. It needed to recover. 2. When the monarch Gu was about to mature, it could choose its true form. Lord Ju said that Tang Yuan was more adorable. Thus, the once tall and handsome monarch Gu turned into a cute Tang Yuan. 2. I remember Ling Jinxing has a lot of delicious jade. Ling Ju's lips curled. She walked through the door quickly. 2. Lord Ju, you are so nice. 2. Ling Ju's lips curled. She sized up the living room. It was not bad. It was very warm. 2. She looked at the stairs. Not bad, white jade. It was really rich. 2. Lord Ju, what do you want to do? If Tang Yuan had a face, it would be a loss. 2. Something that is very common to Ling Ju, but very exciting to Ling Ju. She brought it into Ling Jinxing's study. 2. There were many collectibles inside. She rummaged through the things on the table and pointed at the tall cabinet. She said to Tang Yuan, go ahead, eat whatever you want. I remember that he found the jade Buddha that the old Buddha of the Tang dynasty knelt before. It should be very useful to you. 2. If Tang Yuan wanted to live, it had to drink her blood, but if it wanted power, it had to absorb the essence of a jade so that it could use some of its abilities. For example, mind reading. 2. Other than mind reading and treasure reading, Tang Yuan also had many powerful skills, which was why it was called the Monarch Goo. It smells so good. It jumped down from her ear and jumped into the cabinet. It immediately found the deepest box. Inside, it was a jade Buddha, completely transparent and perfect. 2. It lay lazily on it, its body emitting waves of fluorescent light, like a small light bulb dyed with fluorescent powder. Ling Ju saw something on the table and smiled. Tang Yuan, are you done? 2. Lord Ju, I've finished sucking everything inside. I'm so full. I need to digest it. 2. After it finished speaking, it returned to the diamond in her ear from the cabinet. Ling Ju looked at the study room and observed it. There was no surveillance camera. Very good. 2. She walked back to her room. It was downstairs, next to the stairwell. How should she put it? It was very spacious. Ling Jinxing had asked someone to renovate it, so it looked very luxurious. However, it could not change the fact that it was a maid's bathroom. Ling Ju, I don't like this room. She seemed to be talking to herself. 2. She picked up the matches on the table and walked out. I don't like it. According to my personality, this calls for destruction. 2. She lit the fire and threw the matches on the European-style sofa. The fire was ignited immediately. 2. She walked to the kitchen and opened the gas tank. The corner of her lips curled up. This way, it has nothing to do with me. 2. She jumped out of the window and left the house. 5 minutes later, there was a loud noise and the whole house was on fire. She leaned against a big tree not far away and said with a cold smile, Ling Ju, you've been in the bathroom for so long. Are you happy now? 2. If Tang Yuan was awake, he would definitely be trembling in fear. Lord Ju had turned black again. It was so scary, wasn't it? 2. Soon, the fire brigade arrived. The whole house was almost destroyed because of the gas explosion. The fire brigade had just finished preparing their equipment and was about to spray water when a group of people ran over from afar. They let out cries and howls. 2. Dad, it's our house. 2. What's going on? 2. Dad, Ling Ju is still at home. 2. What? 2. There's still someone inside. Hurry up and save her. Ling Jinxing quickly ordered the firemen. He felt guilty towards Ling Ju. 2. But so what? He turned a blind eye to Ling Ju's life in the Ling family. After all, his wife was the chairman's daughter. He did not know about Ling Ju's suffering in the Ling family, but he did know that she lived in the bathroom used by the servants. However, his wife was right. The other rooms in the house were full, and there was no room for her, Ling Ju. The bathroom was sunny, so it was fine to modify it. Thinking about the damage his cheating had done to his wife, the governor also shut up. Ling Ju stood not far away. Seeing that it was almost time, she walked out. 2. Ling Ying was the first to see Ling Ju. She immediately rushed out and slapped her. Ling Ju, you idiot! Did you accidentally burn down the house? 2. Ling Ju pinched her wrist and smiled. You don't want her hand anymore. 2. Crack. 2. Ling Ying screamed. She looked like she was in pain. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. 2. Ling Ju, seeing that their sister was being bullied, the two boys ran up to her and pointed at Ling Ju. Let go of my sister. 2. Ling Ju threw Ling Ying away and took out a wet towel from her pocket to wipe her hands. So dirty. 2. Ling Xiao held his sister and looked at her red and swollen wrist. His heart ached, and he glared at Ling Ju. Who did you say is dirty? The dirty one is you, the son of the mistress. 2. Ling Xiao. Ling Jinxing walked up and was a little unhappy. He frowned. Ju'er is also your brother. How can you say such things? 2. Dad, he bullied my little sister. Look at her swollen hands. Ling Xiao was a little angry. He glared at Ling Ju and said, just you wait. 2. He must kill this little bastard. Not only did he hurt his mother, but he also stole his father's attention. Ling Ju smiled eerily at him, as if she was saying, You're the only one who wants to touch me. 2. Little Jew, tell Annie why this house is burning. Mu Shuling, who had been silent the whole time, suddenly looked at Ling Ju tenderly and asked. 2. Ling Ju's eyes were indifferent as she said leisurely, How would I know? I just came back too. 2. Ling Jinxing's face turned cold when he heard that. Where did you go? The middle school exams are next week, and you're still running around. 2. I went to a reunion with my classmates. If I were at home, I might have been burned to ashes. When Ling Ju said that, she looked at Ling Zhao's brother, Ling Sheng. 2. In her memory, Ling Sheng was the one who asked her to go to the reunion tonight. He said that he wanted to communicate with his classmates. Ling Ju's Ling family were bullies to begin with. They dared to be angry, but did not dare to speak up. They could only go. 2. She refused to believe that the 3 big men today had nothing to do with Ling Sheng. Ling Sheng looked indifferent, as if he did not see Ling Ju's gaze. 2. The corners of Ling Ju's mouth curled up. Ling Sheng was a powerful figure. Enough. Stop arguing. We'll know what's going on after we put out the fire. Mu Shuling looked deeply at Ling Ju, feeling that he was different. 2. That weak kid actually dared to talk like that now. Ling Jinxing looked at the burnt house, his anger burning. A lot of my plans and documents are still in the study. 2. Especially the antiques he had collected for so many years. They must have been destroyed by now. His famous paintings had all turned into ashes. Ling Ju stood there leisurely. She was secretly pleased as she watched the house that had humiliated her burn into darkness. 2. The fire burned on their faces, and each of them had a different expression. Mu Shuling and Ling Jinxing were holding back their anger, while Ling Ying and Ling Xiao were gnashing their teeth. Ling Xing looked gloomy and creepy. Ling Ju, on the other hand, had a faint smile on her face. She looked at all of this in a cynical manner, as if she was an outsider. The fire raged on for more than 2 hours. Fortunately, there were no trees around, nor were there any residents. Otherwise, it would have definitely affected the innocents. 2. After entering the dilapidated villa, Ling Jinxing could care less about anything else. He quickly ran into the study. 2. The cabinet containing the antiques collection had fallen to the ground. Many blue and white porcelain vases were shattered on the ground. There was still some unfinished paper on his desk, but it was soaked by the water. The words on it were blurry. Mu Shuling walked in. Seeing his dazed look, she felt a little heartache. Jinxing, it's good that you're fine. Don't mind these worldly things. Let's go out. This place might collapse. 2. What do you know? Ling Jinxing yelled at her. He looked at the broken things on the ground and quickly ran over. He moved the pitch-black cabinet away. His precious jade Buddha was still inside. 2. Jinxing, we don't want them anymore, okay? As long as you're still alive, these things can be gained back. 2. Seeing his eyes turn even redder, Mu Shuling felt even more heartache. She hugged his hand, but he fiercely pushed it away. Get lost. Ling Jinxing pushed the cabinet away and flipped the things underneath open. His hand was bleeding from the porcelain, but he continued to dig as if he didn't feel any pain. 2. Mu Shuling was pushed away. Her hand were also cut by the porcelain pieces on the floor, but she still pounced over and hugged her tightly. Jinxing, let's not do this, okay? Let's not do this. 2. Ling Jinxing was still in a frenzy. Neither of them noticed the person standing at the door. Ling Ju smiled. This was just the beginning. Ling Ju glanced at the 3 siblings who were grieving. She chuckled and walked downstairs. If she did not guess wrongly, the fire tomorrow would make the headlines. The governor's house was burned down. She raised her head and glanced at the surveillance camera on the tree. She had destroyed everything around her, so she was not worried that they would find out about her. 2. Governor Ling, the fire captain, saw the person who came down and quickly went up to him, telling him about the situation he had found out. We checked. The gas tank on your side exploded. Because the power line was broken, something like this happened. 2. Why did the power line suddenly break? Ling Jinxing grabbed his collar and said angrily. 2. We don't know either. He looked at him with fear and shook his head repeatedly. 2. Ling Jinxing threw him away and looked at Mu Shuling with his sharp eyes. When we went out, you were the last one to use gas. Didn't you turn it off? 2. I turned it off. Mu Shuling retorted when she heard that. I really turned it off. 2. She had specially checked it when she went out. She didn't expect such a mistake to happen. Ling Jinxing suddenly thought of something. Looking at the monitor on the tree, he said angrily, "Take down the monitor. I want to see who's behind this." 2. The wires were really easy to break, and the gas tank just happened to open. How could everything be so coincidental? It must be his enemy who wanted to harm him. The fireman quickly took the chip from the monitor. Someone immediately took the computer and inserted the chip into it. 2. Everyone looked at the situation in confusion. The computer kept making a series of hissing sounds, but no images appeared. What's going on? Ling Jinxing's face was dark. 2. Suddenly, the computer made a hissing sound, and then it turned black. Ling Ju, who was standing next to him, pursed her lips. Tang Yuan even farted when he went up there? It was really great. 2. The monitor was destroyed. There's no sound at all. The images were all destroyed. 2. What's that sound? Why is there that sound? Ling Jinxing thought. This was the key to solving the case. He said in a deep voice, "Take this tape back and study it. You must find out the source of that sound. It must be the most important part of this matter. And the surveillance cameras on this road, pull them up. You must find out what's going on." 2. He was a governor, but he actually had his house burned down by someone. It was simply a disgrace. 2. Yes, the fire captain also felt that the sound was very strange. Of course, when he heard it for the first time, he thought it was a fart, but when he listened carefully, it was really a little strange. 2. The others took the chip back one after another and plugged it into the computer. The result was the same. Other than the sound in the chip at the beginning, everything else was the same. It was just that there was no other sound or picture. Damn it, Ling Jinxing's face was dark. If I find out who did it, I'll cut him into pieces. 2. Mu Shuling did not say anything. She looked at the leisurely Ling Ju, deep in thought. Let's stay at the hotel next door tonight. Ling Jinxing was furious. His family had gone to a banquet today. 2. It was Mu Shuling's father's retirement banquet. The chairman had stepped down, so the family was invited to the party. Ling Ju did not go because of her awkward status. However, he happened to have a class reunion, so someone took advantage of the loophole and destroyed his family's home. 2. Ling Jinxing was really angry. No one had dared to lay a finger on him for so many years. He did not expect someone to be so reckless. If he found that person, he would not let him go. The person in question said that this kind of thing was quite interesting. If the new house let her stay in the bathroom again, she would do it again. It would be more exciting. Mu Shuling brought the 4 children to the hotel, while Ling Jinxing stayed behind to deal with the rest of the matters. Ling Ju was at the back leisurely while the whole family was talking. "Mom, someone must be behind this," Ling Ying said to Mu Shuling as she held onto her aching wrist. 2. Ling Xiao nodded as well. "Yeah, our family's fine. Someone will come to check on the wires every week." "How could it suddenly break?" 2. Ling Ying asked tentatively. "Is it Dad's enemy?" 2. Mu Shuling did not speak. Of course, she knew there was a problem, but she could not find out who it was, nor did she have any evidence. Anything she said would be in vain. Ling Shang did not speak. His eyes were still as dark as ever. When they arrived at the hotel, the front desk recognized Mu Shuling and welcomed her with joy. "Mrs. Mu, what are you doing here?" 2. Something happened at home. We have to stay at the hotel tonight. Arrange a presidential suite for us. The panic on her face had faded, and she had become the noble wife of the governor. 2. I'm sorry. The presidential suite has been booked by someone else. I can arrange a family suite for you. It's not bad either, the receptionist said with some difficulty. 2. She did not know why, but a group of people came to the hotel today and directly asked for the 2 presidential suites on the top floor. There was no extra room. Then let's have a family suite. There are 6 of us. 2. I'm sorry, Mrs. Mu. Our family suite can only accommodate 5 people. She looked at her with an apologetic look. This was really. 2. She had planned to put on a good show in front of the governor's wife, but she did not expect such a problem to happen again. Mom, it's okay. The 2 brothers can stay together. Ling Ju can have a room alone. Ling Ying winked at Mu Shuling. 2. Mu Shui understood what she meant, but she still hesitated. If Jinxing came back today and they still let Ling Ju stay in the hotel bathroom, he would definitely get angry. 2. He was already in a bad mood after his house was burned. If Ling Ju cried and made a scene, it would definitely be in the headlines. After all, she could not listen to her daughter. She looked at Ling Ju gently. Little Ju, why don't I get you a room alone today? If we move to a new house tomorrow, I'll arrange a better room for you. What do you think? 2. Okay. Ling Ju nodded lightly. She could not wait to get her own room. 2. They were family, and she was an outsider. In front of outsiders, Ling Ying could not lose her temper. She could only hold in her anger. Ling Ju hurt her, but her father did not blame him. Now, her mother even gave her a private room. She was so angry. 2. The receptionist quickly got a room and gave them 2 room cards. She said with a smile, the family suite is on the 8th floor, and the private room is on the 13th floor. 2. Ling Ju took her room card and walked leisurely towards the elevator. Ling Xiao clenched his fists. How dare this kid be so arrogant in front of him? 2. Brother, we'll deal with him tomorrow. Ling Ying was also extremely angry as she whispered into Ling Xiao's ear. 2. Ling Xiao nodded and stared at Ling Ju's back viciously. Ling Ju walked into the elevator and pressed the button to close the door. She did not wait for the group of people behind her. Room 1308, looking at the room card, she could not help but smile. Tonight, she was very fated to be on the 13th floor. Just now, she ran away from the 13th floor and returned to the 13th floor. TSK, TSK. 2. After exiting the elevator, she found a room. Ding. 2. After swiping the room card, she entered the room and habitually locked the door from the inside. She sized up the room. Mu Shuling seemed to be doing a good job on the surface and even gave her such a good room. She was probably afraid that the hotel would spread the news that she was abusing her child. Ling Ju checked her surroundings. There were no surveillance cameras, so she felt at ease. She took off her earring and put it on the bed. She did not like to bring Tang Yuan with her when she showered, even though she knew that it was just a goo. 2. After she showered, she realized that she did not have any clothes to change into. Tang Yuan, I suspect that you have passed on your stupidity to me by being too close to you, she complained and walked out with a towel wrapped around her. 2. When she thought about what happened today, she still could not calm down. She closed her eyes, and her mind was filled with the scene of her family being massacred. Lord Ju, leave first. Don't bother about us. Protect the Guzi. 2. Lord Ju, the future of our Miaojiang can only depend on you. 2. Daughter, this is the first time I've called you this. You have to live well. I believe that you will definitely not disappoint everyone's expectations. 2. Ling Ju's entire body was shrouded in haze. When she took the Guzi and ran away, she met the people from the 4 great clans at Qingfeng village. Ling Ju, I heard that the people of Miaojiang call you Lord Ju. Today, I will also call you Lord Ju. Haha. Hand over the goo, and we will get along well in the future. 2. Yeah, everyone will share the good stuff. 2. Ling Ju looked at the people from the 4 great clans, and the corners of her mouth curled up into a mocking smile. Your wife is so beautiful. Why don't you let us brothers play with her? 2. Ew. The person on the other end of the line stared at her fiercely. Ling Ju, you are still young. Hand over the goo, and you can still cooperate well in the future. If you are still stubborn, our 4 great clans will massacre the entire village. 2. Didn't you already massacre them? She looked at the flames coming from the distance. Her clansmen had all been destroyed. Her Miaojiang had been destroyed. 2. Thinking of this, the seeds of hatred in her heart sprouted and flourished. She hugged the Guzi in her arms tightly and stared at those people with a malicious gaze. Do you think you can get the Emperor Gu just by destroying Miaojiang? Hee, dream on. 2. The 4 great clans were getting closer and closer, and a sinister smile appeared on their faces. Ling Ju, don't struggle anymore. Hand over that thing. 2. Hand them over. 2. Ling Ju smiled. A hint of determination flashed in her eyes. All right, you want the goo? Come and get it yourself. 2. She placed the jar of things on the ground. The corners of her mouth curled up into a vicious smile. Little things, your food is here. Since they want to destroy you, then you should destroy them. Ling Ju took a few steps back and stood at the edge of the cliff. A wicked smile hung on the corner of her mouth. Those people were getting closer and closer to the goo. They were even arguing. 2. She was mumbling something, and the smile on her face grew wider and wider. 2. What's going on? Something drilled into my ear. 2. It hurts. 2. Ling Ju looked at the group of people rolling on the ground in pain, and only then did she let out a faint smile. Actually, the goo worms could not survive without their clansmen, because they were raised with blood. Bang! When she was shot, she looked at her village with a smile and fell into the cliff. When she fell, she said to Tang Yuan, let's go together. 2. Lord Ju, I'm in now. I can save you once. You have to hold on. I'll cut through time and space. It might hurt a lot. 2. Okay. She closed her eyes and thought about the death of her clansmen. What pain could be more painful than this? 2. Tang Yuan was the only adult monarch Gu in Miao region. Perhaps it was because of her blood. The other monarch Gu did not live to adulthood with her master. Hiss. 2. Ling Ju woke up from the bed. She looked at the layout of the hotel in a daze. The pain of her soul being torn apart felt like she had experienced it again in a dream. Tang Yuan. She touched the thing on her ear. 2. Lord Ju, you had a nightmare. Tang Yuan's cute voice came from the black diamond. 2. Yes. Ling Ju rubbed her temples. 2. Don't be afraid. We're already alive. Now you're Ling Ju. No one can bully you in this world. 2. Ling Ju chuckled after hearing Tang Yuan's words, but she could not fall asleep no matter what. She stared at the ceiling until dawn. She got up from the bed and put on the clothes she wore the day before to go for a jog. The place was very close to her burnt home. She ran over to take a look. There were many people watching. Many of them were reporters, taking photos and broadcasting live. It seemed like it was quite lively. Ling Jinxing did not want to hide it anymore. After all, the house was really gone. He could not hide it no matter how hard he tried. Lord Ju, what's going on? Tang Yuan saw the situation as well, and his voice was filled with shock. 2. He was in a daze last night, so he did not realize that she was staying in a hotel. He was much more energetic today. At least he had regained some of his abilities. Seeing the tragic state of the house, his small body trembled. Lord Ju, you didn't do this, did you? 2. Tang Yuan, you're getting smarter and smarter. Ling Ju looked at the burnt-out villa, and a wicked smile appeared on her face. 2. Lord Ju. 2. Tang Yuan heard her and looked at the burnt house. He said weakly, as long as you're happy. 2. Ling Ju smiled and walked toward the hotel. When she reached the door, she realized that the family was about to leave. They looked excited when they saw him. You're just in time. We're going to visit our new home. Come with us. Ling Jinxing was in better spirits now. After all, he was the governor. He could calm down overnight when faced with such a situation. He was obviously surprised to see him, but he still called out to him. Ling Ju knew why he was surprised. After all, Ling Ju used to be extremely lazy. She would never wake up so early. However, her laziness was not because she liked to stay in bed, but because she woke up early to study. She did not even dare to leave her room, so everyone thought that he was very lazy. Okay. She nodded. 2. Ling Ying glared at Ling Ju. Why did this be asterisk start wake up so early? 2. Did Xiao Ju sleep well last night? Did you get a shock? Mu Shuling looked at him gently. He was a little boy who was about to graduate from grade 9. Would he be affected when he saw his home being burned? He was about to take his middle school exams. 2. Very well, she answered calmly. 2. That's good. 2. Everyone fell silent. Ling Jinxing walked in front. He had just taken a few steps when 2 cars stopped beside them. Ling Ju and I will sit here. You guys sit in the back. Ling Jinxing took the lead and sat in the passenger seat. 2. Ling Ju opened the door of the back seat. The family's resentful eyes glanced at her figure. 2. Ling Ju only smiled slightly and then sat in the car. Brother, he actually provoked us. That be asterisk starred. Ling Ying was furious. She really wanted to beat Ling Ju up. 2. It's fine. He doesn't have many good days left. 2. I'm so angry. She pouted angrily, but there was nothing she could do. 2. A vicious glint flashed across Mu Shuling's eyes. Ling Ju, this illegitimate child, was her greatest humiliation, but she still had to smile at him. Ling Ju was younger than Ling Sheng and Ling Xiao, and a few months older than Ling Ying. Ling Jinxing had an affair when she was pregnant with Ling Ying. He said that he met his first love, the one-night stand. With her identity, she could not make a big deal out of it. She could only announce to the public that she was his adopted son from the orphanage. 2. In fact, she loved him, so she could only choose to forgive him. Ling Sheng's eyes were filled with hatred. This time, he was unable to ruin Ling Ju's reputation. There would be a next time. That be asterisk starred was a disgrace to his family. He could not let him be so carefree. Ling Ju knew that those people were cursing her, but she did not care. Ling Jinxing, on the other hand, spoke up. He sat in the passenger seat and said in a stern voice, "Do not make your two brothers angry again." 2. Okay, she said flatly. 2. You can't bully your sister either. 2. Okay. 2. You're about to take your middle school exams. Control yourself and don't cause trouble for me again. 2. Okay. 2. You only know how to say okay. He turned around and glared at Ling Ju. 2. Ling Ju played with her fingers and said faintly, "Yes." 2. Don't forget what you promised me. Ling Jinxing suppressed his anger and turned away from Ling Ju. 2. Ling Ju had a cynical smile on her face the whole time. What did she promise him? If he did not get into the best school in the city in the middle school entrance exam, he would not be Ling Jinxing's child. He would only give him money to live, and he would never be able to enter the Ling family again. 2. If he passed the exam, he would put his name, Ling Ju, in the Ling family's household register and openly become Ling Jinxing's child. TSK, TSK. 2. In fact, she did not care about this father, but it seemed that this identity was quite fun. 2. In this country, there were a few states that were similar to the cities of her era. In other words, Ling Jinxing was actually a mayor, and in this country, he was known as the governor. He also had the president above him. The city he was in happened to be the capital of the country, so his responsibility was greater. Ling Ju did not understand those things. She only felt that doing things with this identity was much more fun. We're here. Get out of the car. The car stopped at a villa area in a small district. Ling Jinxing got out of the car first, and the car that they had just arrived had also arrived. 2. Ling Ju put her hand in her pockets with a smile on her face. Ling Jinxing walked into the villa closest to them, and Ling Ju followed him. She sized up the house and whistled. Not bad. As expected, new things would not arrive until the old ones left. The new one was better than the old one. 2. Go and pick your own room. Ling Jinxing frowned slightly when he saw her dirty look. 2. Lord Ju, the last room upstairs is the best. At that moment, Tang Yuan's excited voice sounded in her mind. 2. Ling Ju smiled faintly. She looked at the 3 children behind her who were acting like good children and walked upstairs leisurely. 2. She walked towards the room and walked around the room. As expected, the lighting was the best. 2. Get out. I want this room. Ling Xiao appeared at the door and looked at him arrogantly. You go live downstairs. 2. Ling Ju treated his words as a fart. She lifted the blanket and lay down on it. As expected, even the bed was so comfortable in the governor's new house. 2. Ling Ju, get lost. Ling Xiao saw that he ignored her and dared to lie on his bed. He walked over angrily. 2. Ling Ju glanced at him indifferently and spat out a single sentence. Get out. 2. Who would dare to snatch the thing that Ling Ju had set her eyes on? You? Ling Xiao was stunned by his gaze for a moment. He felt a little disgusted with himself. Why would he be afraid of this be asterisk starred? 2. Get up. He reached out his hand to pull him up, but Ling Ju instantly got up and kicked him in the stomach. 2. Ling Xiao was kicked against the wall by this force. His entire body was in extreme pain, but he did not show any weakness in front of Ling Ju. Enduring the pain, he glared at Ling Ju fiercely. How dare you? 2. There's actually a kind of dog in this world that likes to bark in other people's homes. TSK, TSK, you deserve a beating. 2. Who are you calling a dog? 2. The one that responds, she smiled faintly, and took 2 steps forward, looking down at him. Also, if that dog doesn't leave, the owner of this house might give it another kick. After all, not everyone in the world is your mother, so they have to tolerate you. 2. Ling Ju, did you forget something? He sat on the ground, clutching his aching chest as he looked at Ling Ju ferociously. Your secret is still in my hands. If you don't move out, I'll tell father. 2. Secret? Ling Ju searched through the memories in her mind. Perhaps it was because Tang Yuan's abilities were not complete. She had some memory loss. 2. Are you scared? He stood up and looked at Ling Ju with a cold smile. As the son of a governor, you actually fell in love with a man. You even wrote a love letter to him. Did you forget that the love letter is still in my hands? 2. Love letter. Ling Ju was a little speechless. There was such a thing? 2. Ling Ju knew that she was a girl, so she secretly fell in love with a boy. She wanted to confess her love to him at the end of the semester, but Ling Xiao found out about it and used it to threaten him. She could not admit that she was a girl, so she could only quietly be ordered around by him and bullied. The memory came back to Ling Ju's mind. She looked at Ling Xiao with bloodshot eyes. Hand it over. She moved forward like a ghost and pinched his neck hard. Her eyes flashed with a cold light. 2. Ling Xiao was a little scared when he saw Ling Ju like this. He was only a grade 1 student. 2. You're really shameless. Ling Ju could not find any words to describe him. 2. Ling Xiao did not tell Ling Jinxing about this, but he gave the love letter to the boy that Ling Ju had a crush on. From that day onwards, that boy hated her very much. The whole class also knew about it, and they all making fun of her for falling in love with a man. 2. All kinds of disgusting comments were directed at her. There were even men from other schools who came to him and asked if she was selling herself. That little Ling Ju had kept all of this in her heart. Perhaps she was relieved when she died. However, all of this fell on her head. It would not be that simple. 2. Ling Ju, what are you doing? Let go of me now. Otherwise, I will show the letter to father. Ling Xiao had come with his sister and brother behind his back. When he saw Ling Ju like this, he was so scared that he could not speak clearly. 2. However, Ling Ju sneered. I just remembered now. Didn't you give that thing to Fu Zinan? Now you want to threaten me with this? 2. Fu Zinan was the boy that Ling Ju liked. Let go of me. Ling Xiao struggled with all his might. Ling Ju smiled coldly. She pulled his hair and dragged him to the bathroom. 2. Let go of me. Ling Xiao struggled nonstop. However, he was only a 17-year-old teenager. Ling Ju was very strong, and he could not break free. 2. He could only accept his fate and be dragged into the bathroom by her. 2. She filled a basin with water and pressed his head into it. You should wake up now, you piece of trash. 2. Put some water in. Let your empty brain have more things. 2. Thinking of the mockery Ling Ju had experienced, she could not help but want to kill the person in front of her. 2. However, she did not have the goo, nor could she control him. She could only vent her anger now. 2. Help. Oh, wah. He drank a lot of water, and, after a while, blood came out his nose. 2. Ling Xiao, let me tell you, if you dare to be arrogant in front of Lord Ju, I will push you into the toilet. Ling Ju lifted his head, grabbed his collar, pointing at the toilet. 2. Seeing that Ling Xiao did not say anything, she carried him out of the toilet and said coldly, Do you hear me? Ling Xiao's nose was bleeding, dripping down to his chin, and his white shirt was stained with blood. 2. His eyes were bloodshot, and he looked like a mess. He looked at Ling Ju with fear. You're not Ling Ju. You're definitely not Ling Ju, he murmured. He was in a daze. Ling Ju, who did not even dare to speak loudly, did not dare to treat him like this. 2. Ha ha. Ling Ju looked at him and lifted his chin with one hand. A wicked smile appeared on her face. Take a good look. Am I Ling Ju? 2. Ling Xiao was about to wet his pants. He could not care less about the nosebleed on his face. He kept shaking his head and looked at him in disbelief. You're definitely not Ling Ju. You're not him. You're not him. 2. Ling Ju's older brother looked terrified, but she smiled even more happily. I'm Ling Ju. I just crawled out of hell. I'm going to drag the both of you down with me. 2. Ah! He screamed and struggled free from her grip. He ran out of the room. 2. Ling Ju looked at his back and clapped her hands. TSK, TSK, kids are really easy to fool. 2. Lord Ju, you scare me to death. I thought you had gone dark again. Tang Yuan's voice rang in her mind with a hint of relief. 2. This kid can make me go dark? Tang Yuan, you're looking down on me more and more. 2. She walked in the bathroom, rinsed the floor, and washed her hands. Lord Ju's place is quite far from the 3 rooms on the left. The old man lives on the 1st floor. It'll be much easier for you to move around in the future. 2. Tang Yuan, do you know what I'm going to do? She walked out of the bathroom and locked the door behind her. Then, she laid down comfortably on the bed. The bed was really nice. 2. Of course. We've lived together for more than 20 years. I still don't understand your little scheme, Lord Ju. 2. You're so smart. I'll go find you some good food tonight. Ling Ju turned over and stood up. She walked to the window. 2. There was a small path down there. On the far left was a small forest. Through the forest, one could still see the sparkling lake water. It was easy for her to jump down from here. The 1st floor should be a washroom, so it was impossible for anyone to find her. A satisfied look flashed across her eyes. It was indeed prepared for her. Lord Ju, are you going out tonight? But you're going to have your middle school exams the day after tomorrow. You don't know anything. 2. Ling Ju listened to the cute voice. It was originally a pleasant voice, but it was a critical hit of 10,000. 2. The original owner's results were not particularly good on the surface, but that was because she liked Fu Zenon. 2. She would not pass any exams for fear that he would be unhappy. Therefore, she hid her abilities, and the exams were mostly blank papers. She remained the last in the class for 3 years. It had to be said that this was very Ling Ju. Lord Ju, you have to study hard. You're only 16 now. 2. Wait, Ling Ju is only 15, okay? I'm still a handsome young man. 2. Fake age, aren't you still 16 years old? 2. Tang Yuan, why are you so stubborn? 2. Lord Ju, it's time for you to study hard. It directly avoided the question and said earnestly, you are no longer the 25-year-old Ling Ju from your previous life. 2. Tang Yuan, you're so long-winded. You're just like a monk Tang. Blah, blah, blah. Also, look, there are no desks or books in this room, okay? That fire has already burned all the textbooks. Ling Ju thought to herself it was a good thing that the books and desks were burned. Otherwise, she would still have to study. What a headache. 2. Knock, knock, knock. 2. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Ling Ju's smiling face instantly cooled down. She asked, who is it? 2. Please open the door. We're the workers who brought the desks here. 2. Tang Yuan held back his smile. Cough, cough, what a coincidence. The desk was delivered just as he was about to say something. Little Tang Yuan, you're laughing. You can laugh openly. I won't do anything to you. At most, she would just throw him into the water and boil him. 2. Lord Ju, I'm really not gloating. 2. Stupid goo. The smile was still as low as before. 2. Ling Ju chuckled and walked to the door. She opened the door and let the people in. She crossed her arms and leaned against the wall, looking at them indifferently. Those people put down a desk, and people came in one after another. They installed the computers and other things. Finally, a pile of new books came in. 2. I bought you the questions for the middle school exam. Take a look at them tonight. Study hard at home tomorrow. The exam is the day after tomorrow. Behave yourself. Ling Jinxing looked at her with a warning after the installation workers left. 2. Oh, Ling Ju said lightly. 2. I have to finish these 2 books. He pointed to 2 books on the table and looked at him seriously. These are the teaching plans that will be drawn every year. 2. May I ask, dear father? Ling Ju smiled sarcastically as her eyes swept across his face. I'm very curious. Do you want me to get into Moke? Or do you want me to stay in your Ling family's household register? 2. You still want to get into Moke? Ling Zhenxing looked at him with some disdain as he walked around his room. We had an agreement back then. As long as you get into City Number 1 high school, I will agree to let you get into the Ling family's household register. If you don't get in, I will let you become a boarder. Your household register will still be with your mother. 2. What if I manage to get into Moke? Ling Ju said with a faint smile, her eyes filled with confidence. 2. If you manage to get into Moke, not only will I let your name appear in the Ling family's household register, you can also make any request you want. If it makes sense, I will agree to it. 2. All right. Ling Ju smiled after obtaining his agreement. She still had the same cynical look, but her eyes were filled with determination. 2. Ling Zhenxing glanced at her indifferently. Your personality is so similar to your mother's. 2. I haven't had a mother since the day she sent me here. Ling Ju shrugged nonchalantly and opened the door. You can leave now. I need to rest. 2. She has her reasons. Ling Zhenxing frowned slightly when he saw her expression. You're not young anymore. You need to be sensible and understand her. 2. Are you leaving or not? Ling Ju was annoyed by his nagging. He only dared to mention that woman in front of her. If it was in front of Mu Shuling, he would not dare to say a single word. 2. Being nice to her could hurt her. She did not know what use this father of hers was. Lord Ju, someone is eavesdropping at the door. Suddenly, Tang Yuan's voice entered her mind. 2. Ling Ju's eyes flashed, and the corners of her lips curled into a smile. She raised her head to look at Ling Zhenxing, and her voice was a little gentle. Father, I want to ask you a question. 2. Ling Zhenxing was about to walk out, but he saw her sudden intimacy. 2. Do you really care about me? 2. You're my son. Of course I have to take care of you. 2. What about my mother? What do you take her for? Ling Ju's voice was a little low. She always said that you would come back to look for her. She waited for so many years, but you never came back. And now you're leaving me here all alone and ignoring me. I do hate her, but she's my biological mother. Since you care about me as your son, do you care more about her? 2. Dad, tell me the truth. Do you still have any feelings for my mother? Ling Ju questioned him in a slightly sad manner. There was determination on her stubborn face. 2. Ling Zhenxing's stern face softened when he saw the child's questioning expression. Your mother and I are in the past. You are my child. This cannot be changed. I will treat you well now. However, your mother, I can only let her down. She deserves a better man. 2. The corners of Ling Ju's lips curled up. Ling Zhenxing, this man is really something. He did not know that there was someone outside when he said those words. Therefore, he meant what he said. You can go. I need a rest. Ling Ju's face turned cold. She put on an act for a while, and it was a little disgusting. 2. You rest first. We will go out for dinner later, he said softly and walked towards the door. 2. Lord Ju, the person outside has left. Just as Tang Yuan finished speaking, Ling Zhenxing walked out of her bedroom door. 2. Xiaoying, are you going to visit your brother? He's going to rest. Don't disturb him. 2. Yes. 2. Ling Ju's lips curled up when she heard what the people outside said. Actually, these words were not scary to Mu Shuling, but to Ling Ying. That girl was not as mature as Mu Shuling. She liked to put everything on her lips, and people like her were the easiest to scheme against. Lord Ju, do you have a plan? Tang Yuan changed into his true form and jumped on her bed, jumping up and down. 2. Yes. Ling Ju leaned against the pillow, her face dark. 2. What plan? Can you tell Tang Yuan about it? It jumped on her chest, jumping up and down. 2. Sleep first, then wake up to eat, and then burn all of them. She pointed at the pile of books, her head aching at the sight of them. 2. She hated studying the most, and hated school even more, because school was too troublesome. Lord Ju, you're 15. I found a very tragic thing. 2. It jumped down from her body with a face full of regret. Tang Yuan did not know whether it was peanuts, sesame seeds, or brown sugar water in its head. It was always so chaotic. It was clearly talking about another matter, but it could jump to another topic, catching people off guard. 2. It jumped back into the black diamond before it dared to speak. Lord Ju, in your previous life, when you were 25 years old, you had flat breasts. Now you're 15 years old, and you still have flat breasts, and especially flat. Look, it's like an airport. 2. Tang Yuan, why don't you come out and we can have a good chat? She touched the black earring. There was a smile on her face, but it was a creepy smile. Come out. I'll take you to take a bath. I'll boil you 100 degrees of water and let you soak in it. 2. Lord Ju, don't you like to hear the truth? It said weakly. Then I won't tell the truth anymore. Lord Ju, actually your chest is the third from the bottom of the 26 letters. 2. Tang Yuan, come out. Come out. Come out. Let's have a good talk. She fiddled with the earring, but the ball inside did not come out at all. The cowardly Tang Yuan only dared to say that he did not dare to come out and face it. 2. Ling Ju laughed out of anger. Even though she had a flat chest, she was only 15 years old. 2. When she was 25 years old again, she would definitely not have a flat chest like she did in her previous life. She wanted to turn into a turbulent sea, not a flat airport. Lord Ju, I'm so sleepy. Let's go to sleep. Tang Yuan is already asleep. 2. You cowardly Tang Yuan. The corner of Ling Ju's lips curled up. She was in a much better mood after the scene made by it. 2. Ling Ju could not fall asleep. She did not have the habit of taking an afternoon nap. Since she had nothing better to do, she walked over to her desk and started reading. She looked at the questions and actually understood them at a glance. After all, the original owner also had a foundation. Lord Ju, can you really get into that Moke Academy? 2. I think so. Maybe she was confident in everything, but she was not good at studying. 2. As for the original owner, she was not confident in anything, but her academic results were actually very good. They complemented each other now. Sigh. Tang Yuan sighed. Lord Ju, your body is getting weaker and weaker. 2. Ling Ju was already used to its jumping thoughts. She smiled faintly. Will I die? 2. Tang Yuan has used up all of its abilities. It's like a human baby now. It can only help Lord Ju destroy the monitor and probe his thoughts. It can't do anything else. 2. As long as you don't die. Ling Ju smiled indifferently. Then, she said thoughtfully, now that I don't have money, how am I supposed to earn money? 2. Tang Yuan did not say anything. Ling Ju knew that it was blaming itself. It allowed itself to come back to life, and then it would soon die again. Even though the monarch Gu would die if she died, it did not care about itself, but about her. 2. Ling Ju read the book for a long time and thought that it was quite fun. In her previous life, she would sleep every time she went to class. She would only fight with her brothers, so much so that she had forgotten that she was a woman. Thud, thud, thud. 2. Ling Ju, let's eat. Hurry up, we're all waiting for you. Ling Ying's voice came from outside. 2. Ling Ju stood up and touched her earring. A smile appeared on her face. When she walked out, Ling Ying had already left. Ling Ju went downstairs leisurely. The whole family was sitting in the living room, cutting watermelons and eating. When Ling Xiao saw her, his body clearly trembled. What's wrong? Ling Xing noticed that he was a little scared and frowned slightly. 2. It's nothing. Ling Xiao did not dare to say anything. Ling Ju's appearance made him afraid to say anything. 2. He did not even dare to tell his own brother. Ling Ju had long known of his personality. She gave him a sarcastic smile. Little Ju, come and eat some watermelon. Mu Shuling looked at him amiably and handed him a watermelon. 2. I don't like it. Ling Ju frowned slightly. Then, she looked at Ling Jinxing. Didn't you say that you would leave after only waiting for me? 2. Ling Jinxing glanced at Ling Ying, then put down the thing in his hand. Let's go. 2. Ling Ju was the first to walk in front. Ling Ying was chewing on half a piece of watermelon. She could only put it down reluctantly. This Ling Ju. 2. Didn't he usually take his time to leave the house? Why was he so fast today? 2. Ling Xiao did not dare to say anything. He changed his clothes when he returned to his room. He calmed down for a long time and finally believed that Ling Ju was different. He must have been possessed by a ghost. His parents would not believe him. That was why he did not say anything. He wanted to observe him carefully. Ling Ju and Ling Jinxing sat in the same car, while the other four sat in the other car. Mom, why has our family become like this ever since Ling Ju appeared? 2. He's your brother. Mu Shuling patted Ling Ying's head. You have to get along well with him. 2. He's not my brother. Ling Ying glared at the car in front of her viciously. Mom, do you know? He asked Dad in the room just now, asking if he still cares about his mom. That be asterisk TCH mom of his seduced dad and gave birth to a B asterisk TCH like him. Now, he's living well in our house. And he even mentioned that be asterisk TCH. 2. What did your dad say to him? A hint of ruthlessness flashed across Mu Shuling's eyes. 2. Enhance. Dad said that woman was his favorite in the past, but now he can only let her down. She is suitable for a better man. 2. Did your dad really say that? Mu Shuling's eyes were a little malicious. 2. Yes. Ling Ying thought to herself. If that was the case, would her mother not let her play with Ling Ju anymore? 2. She really hated Ling Ju. She really hated Ling Ju. Mu Shuling did not say anything. She only looked at the car in front of her with a cold expression. Ling Jinxing, that woman is the cinnabar mole in your heart. What about me? 2. I gave birth to 3 children for you. Is this how you treat me? 2. Ling Sheng's eyes turned cold as well. It would be fine if Ling Ju disappeared. 2. Ling Xiao was a little afraid. His father really doted on Ling Ju. Otherwise, he would not have said such things. Perhaps he would treat Ling Ju better in the future. 2. He could not say that out loud. His father would not believe him. When he had the ability, he would secretly bully Ling Ju to take revenge for what had happened today. The car drove on the road. There was a lot of scenery passing by, yet they did not have the mood to appreciate it. Everyone had their own thoughts in their hearts. 2. They arrived at the restaurant in a short while. They found a private room and sat down. Ling Jinxing ordered the dishes and the family chatted. Ling Ju had nothing to do, and she did not have anything in common with them. She stood up. Where are you going? Ling Jinxing looked at her with a frown. 2. The washroom, she said lightly, then opened the door and walked out. 2. Mu Shuling turned into her amiable self, chatting with the children about her studies. Everyone was having a good time. It seemed like they would be happier without Ling Ju. 2. Ling Ju walked into the washroom. She washed her hands at the door, her face calm. 2. Looking at the men's and women's washrooms, she entered the men's washroom without hesitation. 2. In this place, they were all independent washrooms. She could not see anything even if she went in. 2. If she went in the female bathroom, people would call her a hooligan. In her previous life, she was the same, acquiescing to the male bathroom. However, she didn't have the habit of looking at other people's little elephant trunks. Unless she had no choice, she wouldn't go to the public bathroom, and when she went, she would wait for the time when there was no one else. Fortunately, when she was in Miaojiang, no good brothers asked her to go to the bathroom together, and then compared the length of the little elephant trunk with her. She couldn't compare anything with them. 2. She walked in without looking away. This restaurant was relatively high class, so it was very clean inside, and there were very few people inside. When she came out, she met Ling Sheng. He was standing in the corridor, smoking a cigarette. When he saw her, his eyes were much darker. Ling Ju raised her eyebrows slightly. Ling Sheng was already a third-year high school student. The college entrance exam was about to begin, so he was a few years older than her. 2. Ling Ju. When Ling Ju passed by him, he suddenly stopped her and said in a low voice, "You won't be so lucky next time." 2. What next time? Ling Ju's eyes flashed, and she looked at him as if she did not know anything. 2. Ling Sheng threw the cigarette, but into the ashtray and raised his head to stare at him. His gaze was malicious and vicious. "You little bastard, you should get the hell out of our Ling family. I got a few burly men to beat you up last time, but I didn't think that you would still be able to escape." He. 2. You still dare to admit it. Ling Ju laughed. She took 2 steps towards him and quickly grabbed his chin with her hand, twisting it violently. 2. Crack. 2. She heard the sound of her chin being dislocated. Ling Sheng did not see her movements. By the time he reacted, his jaw was already dislocated. "Ah!" He growled in pain and slapped Ling Ju hard. Ling Ju grabbed his hand, her eyes filled with malice. "You think you can beat me up with just your strength?" 2. She pushed his hand against the wall. Although she was a bit shorter than him, her aura made him shudder. 2. Ling Sheng, what do you think I should do to you? Ling Ju sneered. Should I ask you to roll around with the big men as well? 2. You're not Ling Ju. 2. You're the second person to say that. Ling Ju approached him, lowered her head, and whispered into his ear. She chuckled. Your retribution is coming soon. 2. Big brother, what are you two doing? Ling Ying looked at them in disbelief. 2. What were they doing? Why were Big Brother and Ling Ju so close? 2. Ling Ju turned around and smiled at her. Then, she let go of Ling Sheng's hand and shrugged. We're probably flirting. 2. She glanced at Ling Sheng, then raised her hand with an evil smile. Crack. 2. She took his chin back, then gently stroked his chin as if she was flirting with him. Ling Ju. After Ling Sheng's chin recovered, he glared at Ling Ju angrily. 2. Ling Ju did not say anything. She gave him an evil smile and turned around to enter the room. The two siblings looked at each other. Ling Sheng's face was twisted. He could not even answer Ling Ju when she was talking to him just now. He endured the pain and walked toward the room step by step. Brother, you. 2. It's not what Ling Ju said. He looked at the direction of the room with a ferocious expression. He took a deep breath and walked into the room. 2. Ling Ying was still in shock as she entered the room. What did you guys do? Ling Jinxing frowned slightly. The dishes are already cold. Why did you make so many people wait for you? 2. Ling Ju picked up her chopsticks and started eating. The dishes taste pretty good even when they're cold. 2. Ling Jinxing saw that he was eating happily, so he could not say anything. Ling Xiao looked at his brother silently. He was sure that his brother was bullied by Ling Ju as well. The group of people ate in silence. Ling Ju lost her appetite after a few bites. Knock, knock, knock. 2. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door. Ling Jinxing frowned slightly. Come in. 2. Hello, Governor. Captain Yu is next door. He asked me to ask you. He saw you guys just now and wanted to come over to talk to you. Is that okay? The manager of the shop stood at the door respectfully and asked softly. 2. Yu-chan is here too? 2. Yes. 2. Let him come over. Ling Jinxing wiped his mouth and put down the wet towel. 2. Ling Ju put down the chopsticks in her hand and sat in her seat without saying a word. Lord Ju, a bad person is here. Tang Yuan suddenly said in her mind. This person is the one from last time. 2. The one from last time? Ling Ju was confused. 2. He was the one who rushed in at the door with the most murderous aura when you were with that handsome young man. 2. Ling Ju frowned slightly. She remembered now, but this person probably did not know her. 2. Tang Yuan, can you erase my memory? 2. Lord Ju, I can't do it yet. I haven't recovered yet. 2. Ling Ju frowned. She was afraid of seeing the policeman. At that time, he had clearly seen her face. She did not think too much at that time. It was a mistake to think about it again. Forget it then. As long as the policeman is not here. Captain Yu did not see her face, so she was temporarily safe. 2. Knock, knock, knock. 2. Come in, Ling Jinxing said softly. The person at the door pushed the door open and came in. 2. Governor Ling, long time no see. How have you been? A man came in from a door. The man was tall and handsome. He was dressed in expensive beige sportswear. He was as perfect as the favored child of God.